Welcome back to the Sports Source. The segment brought to you by Daniel Hood Roofing. You might have heard of him. He's a good guy. Easy financing with no down payment, no third-party contractors, free online estimates, and they handle your insurance company so you don't have to. Put all that together with a history of putting quality roofs on East Tennessee homes, and you can't beat Daniel Hood Roofing. Call them today as soon as the show ends, not before. Call them today, though. DanielHoodRoofing.com is another way to reach out to them. Okay, back with Josh and Vince. The NCAA announced some rule changes this week. I want to talk about two of them very quickly. First, there will be no cap starting in August on the number of official visits a prospect can take moving forward. A player used to be allowed just 5. Now they can take as many as they want, and that's got a lot of people saying, oh my gosh, the recruiting budget's going to go through the roof. But the schools are still capped at 56 official visits that you can welcome in, which is going to make it tougher on them, I think, because they're already having to tell kids, no, we don't want you to come in and take an official visit. Now you got more kids who are going to want to because they can take more, and you're going to have to tell more people, I've only got 56, and you're not one of our 56. Thoughts on this rule change?
Well, now we're going to have even more confusing offers, but you can't actually commit to them, I guess.
Non-committable, yeah.
You'll find about the non-committable offers when you're not allowed to visit the school, at least officially. It helps the players, I guess, overall. I doubt that it changes too much in terms of what we'll see with players doing visits. Many will still take their unofficial visits and use that to figure out how much they want to whittle it down. We see the, in my opinion, very annoying graphics of the, here's my top 12 now. So, okay, let me know when you get closer to a decision. So we'll see more of that maybe as they're trying to whittle down their official visits.
Yeah, just like always, anytime there's these rule changes, the coaches kind of figure it out, and it'll be a moving of the chess pieces. And yes, some kids might get squeezed out that they thought they were going to be able to get a big school into the mix, and then others are going to take advantage of it. Or there's some that are going to use the system and say, well, I'm going to take all these visits. They may go to schools they have no interest in because now those schools have visits available and they just want the experience.
And they want the photograph of themselves in that jersey, which they say is a huge part of recruiting now. It's just everybody wants to show up and do a photo shoot. My question would be this. The reaction on Twitter from even sports media guys was, my gosh, recruiting budget's going to go through the roof now. Am I looking at this wrong? You still have 56. That's it. You still get the same number that you've always had. So I don't see how the recruiting budget goes up. What am I missing there?
Yeah, well, the cap to me would be important unless we're missing some numbers, because what I actually worried about was, I'm not worried about Tennessee, Ohio State, Alabama.
Right.
I'm worried about some of the smaller schools being able to host more visitors. But if the number is still going to be the same in total, then that shouldn't change anything.
At all.
Yeah.
No.
You've
still got
your
56.
financial, because that was my initial concern was smaller school budget.
Plus, kids are committing earlier and earlier with the early signing period. Unless they change the early signing period, then that could be a different dynamic.
All right, here's the second rule change, and this one impacts Tennessee, or could. No, it impacts everybody. I think it's pointless, however. It changes the guidelines for approving waivers for underclassmen who are looking to transfer a second time. During COVID, they opened the door, and it's been willy-nilly, and people are transferring 2 and 3 times. They're trying to shut that door a little bit. Here's the problem. There are certain things that won't allow you to move anymore. A lack of playing time. You can't use that as an excuse for needing a waiver and get it approved. A coaching change won't be good enough either for your second transfer. It would be on, first one's free, second one isn't. Coaching change doesn't open the door for you. But players will need to have a documented injury, an illness, or a mental health or other exigent circumstance like a physical or sexual assault to get a waiver for a second transfer. Okay, I can sum this up in mental health. Focus on those words. Well, I'm depressed. How does the NCAA, doesn't that seem like a loophole that's a mile wide? I'm not making fun of mental illness, but that seems like one where somebody who isn't really that depressed could say, boy, I hate it here. I'm not playing well enough. Coach, I'm depressed. I've got to transfer. How does the NCAA step in and stop that?
I doubt that they do. Mental health is a very serious issue, but I would also expect that it will be easily passable if you're using it for your waiver and a transfer.
I don't think the NCAA is going to look at it. And
they're not going to battle that. They can't win doing that.
Exactly.
They wouldn't want to.
They will absolutely stay away from that. And it's unfortunate that because it is such a serious illness, that there will be people that will use that to take advantage of it. But it is an open-ended, flexible loophole for the taking.
I think it renders all the other points of that moot.
Right.
So you could just say, I'm feeling a lot of anxiety about playing here at Tennessee. I've got to get out of here. The NCAA is not going to sit there and say, no, we don't believe you, on the off chance that somebody is suffering and somebody does something crazy. But you just, you're trying to create this new rule, this new door in between the players and a second transfer, and yet I think the door has no glass in it. You can just you got a frame, but you can step right through it because that mental health thing, anybody who wants to can use that, I would think.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they will.
We all agree on
Yeah.
that. Okay. Pointless rule. Okay. When we come back, is Tennessee basketball starting to feel a roster squeeze? We'll discuss that next on the Sports Source.